Hi everyone! Today I wanted to record this video to talk to you about breast pumps. So I've shared a lot about my breastfeeding journey over on my Instagram page and my blog. Actually, I am exclusively breastfeeding, and I have done now for my first daughter and now for my second child as well. However, I'm exclusively breastfeeding in that my baby only gets breast milk. But for me, it's really important to have some independence. And so I find that pumping and giving occasional bottles does allow me to do that. So for me, it's a really important part of my breastfeeding journey and actually allowing me to continue to breastfeed. Because, you know, in the night, my husband's able to give a bottle maybe once in a while if I want to go out for a couple of hours. Then again, my husband or somebody else can give baby a bottle if we need to. But whenever I'm with my baby, I always breastfeed. In order to give a bottle of breast milk, obviously you need to have the opportunity to express, and there's loads of different pumps out there on the market. With my daughter Lila, I only had one pump. I had two pumps. I had the Medela Swing, which was a double pump, which I borrowed from a friend actually. And then I also had a Haaka, so a manual pump. And this time around I've had the opportunity to try the Elvie as well. So I'm going to show you each of the pumps and tell you my thoughts on them. So first up, I wanted to talk about the Medela Swing double. So I've got that here. It's quite a bulky thing, as you can see, and I actually don't even have it connected at the moment to the charger. The one that I've got has got rechargeable batteries in it. Basically, I always use it connected to the mains power, so there's a black cable that goes into that. And then you've got your two pumps, which you hold, or you use a bra, which allows you to pump hands-free. Now, it's a really good pump in that it's quite lightweight, it's quite small, it fits into a little bag, so you can take it around with you. You can recharge it, so you use it on the go, or you can use it connected to the mains. So that's all really good. However, I find that when I pump with it, I do still kind of feel that I'm attached to a pump. It's quite noisy. It's quite difficult to do without being fully exposed, because although there is a bra that goes with it, you can't put any clothes on top of that because it would be very obvious that you've got these two things sticking on your chest. So it's not particularly discreet. It's the sort of thing that you would use at home or in an office, maybe where you're in an isolated environment where there's not lots of people around. But it's especially having it as a double, gets, you know, a good decent amount of milk in a relatively short space of time. It's not the most powerful pump on the market, so Medela does a lot more options, and they've got their hospital grade pumps as well. So if you are exclusively pumping, then those sorts of pumps are going to get you the most milk in the shortest amount of time. But this is quite a nice option, and isn't the most expensive product on the market, so that is good. However, this time around, my second baby, I've got a toddler at home, and I find that even finding the time to just sit down for half an hour between feeding and looking after my child is actually quite difficult. And with a pump like that, I do feel that you need to kind of make the time for it to sit down when you're not really doing anything else, often because you need to kind of be holding the pump. So it's a good option, but for me, it's not my favourite at the moment. Now, the second pump that I wanted to talk about is this one. So this is Pumped, it's called, and it's by New Editions. I had a similar version with my first baby called the Haaka, but essentially what it is it's just a single piece. That's just the lid that comes off, and that's all it is. It's a manual pump, and it's really useful for when you're feeding on one breast. You can just attach this pump onto the other side, and you literally squeeze it to attach. You put your nipple in, make sure it's pointing in the right direction, let go, and it will stay attached whilst you're feeding your baby, or you could be pumping with another breast pump on the other side. It essentially captures all the milk that's released when you have your letdown reflex. What you'll find is when you start breastfeeding on one side, often the other side starts leaking, and this allows you to capture that milk, and will also continue to express some milk from you throughout the duration of that feed. These types of pumps are really cheap. They'll be about sort of 10, 12, 15 pounds depending on which one you've got. So it's cheap, it's very easy to clean. And it's something that's really useful for on the go, for wherever you are. Now again, it does usually expose you because it's still quite a large piece, so it's not going to sit in your bra. So you kind of need to have both boobs out at the same time, but you could do it under a breastfeeding cover if you were out and about. I've used it in the car before, on a car journey, or I've also used it one time. I was at a wedding, so I separated from my baby, but I needed to pump, but I didn't want to bring something that would need to be, you know, plugged in or was going to be really noisy. I just took myself to the toilet and just attached that on, and again I can easily get sort of 100 to 150 mils in whilst feeding or expressing on the other side as well. So it's really useful, and I would say if you can, to have that plus an electric pump gives you a lot of flexibility and a lot of choices. The final pump that I wanted to talk about is the Elvie. So you might have seen it or heard about it, and it's been quite popular on Instagram as well. So this is the Elvie. I will say that I was gifted this, but I had no obligation to record this video or to share it at all. But I wanted to talk about it because I have been using it and I really do love it. As you can see, it's very compact. It doesn't have any wires or anything connected to it. It's rechargeable by a cable, a USB cable that you just plug into your computer or the wall. And it's very discreet. And the other thing that's really nice about it is it's really quiet. So all you have to do is you take this piece and you pop it in your bra, and you press play. And what I find is I can do this kind of anywhere that I am. It's really flexible, and when I'm around the house even, you know, and I've got my toddler running around, I need to make dinner, there's really no time to sit down and kind of express, but what I can do is just pop that in my bra, and then I can carry on doing whatever else I'd be doing, so cooking or whatever, cleaning, it doesn't really matter. As long as I find if I lean forward too much it might leak, but otherwise it's really comfortable, it fits inside your bra, and it gets a really good volume of milk in a pretty short space of time. It takes up to 150 mils, and then it comes with 2 bottles, so you could, if that fills up, switch to the other bottle. And so I find that although it is a more expensive option, at the moment I think I would be happy if that was my only pump. So some people I see say, you know, you need that and, you know, one of the bigger pumps, the more traditional type of pump. If you're exclusively expressing and you need to do a number of pumping sessions per day, perhaps then you would benefit anyway from a double pump at least, because that's going to shorten the time of your pumping session by half. But otherwise I would say I think the Elvie, a single Elvie, is probably enough for most people that are breastfeeding and expressing, and you know, you want maybe 1 or 2 bottles of milk a day. So that's a roundup of the pumps that I've got. I'm going to put up here just a little comparison table of what I think the differences are between the 3 options. The main difference to me, I think I would say, is price point, and also how compact or easy they are to travel with or to pump on the go. They all get a decent volume of milk and they're all great options. I'm going to make this also into a blog post, so you can drop any comments or questions under that. But I hope that that was useful.